Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Asphalian's webinar, PMS Data Submission Key Points. Before starting, just a couple of things to take into consideration about the webinar. The webinar will last approximately 30 minutes. In case you have any questions, please submit them in the chat and we will answer them later per email. We will also send you the presentation per email, as well as the link to the recording shortly. And now it's my pleasure to introduce our speaker today, Sonia Tejeda, Data Management Senior Officer. Sonia has a degree in biochemistry from the Universidad Complutense, a master in chromatographic techniques, and a postgraduate degree in regulatory affairs. She holds over 10 years experience in the pharma industry, specializing in regulatory compliance, IDMP implementation, and data management. In today's webinar, Sonia will give us an overview of the IDMP standards, the implementation of PMS, the interaction with other applications, and the requirements to meet the deadlines announced by the EMA, among many others. Next, we will briefly present the data management solutions provided by Asphalian. At Asphalian, we deliver comprehensive data management solutions from XEDMPD and ISO-IDMP to RIMS post-implementation, ensuring data integrity and regulatory excellence. Also, we provide expert support for PMS readiness, including data review and PUI validation to maintain compliance and consistency across all systems. Our specialists proactively maintain and correct regulatory data, guaranteeing accuracy and reliability throughout the product lifecycle. Also, we streamline PMS access management, enabling secure, efficient control of your organization's regulatory information. With advanced PMS integration through API and bulk update, at Asphalian, we enhance efficiency and future-proof your data strategy. And now let's move forward with the webinar. Sonia, please, whenever you are ready.
Okay, thank you, Lydia. Okay, so welcome to this webinar on PMS data submission key points. I hope you find it useful. Here, I will to present the agenda with the topic we will cover. First, we will position ourselves a bit in terms of legislation. Then, we will review what PMS and its functionalities. After that, we will discuss how to verify data in PMS. And finally, the activities that marketing authorization holders need to undertake. Okay, so before we dive into the main content, let's first understand the background of the regulatory requirements for marketing authorization holders. Article 57 of Regulation 726/2004, along with its amendments, was introduced to ensure comprehensive tracking and information sharing of medicinal products within the European Union and a specific EEA region. This legislation applies for all products, centralized products and non-centralized products. Taking into account that the agency adopted different phase approach, we are currently using the phase 3 processing and validation of the submitted information, and the phase 4 is coming into effect. This is the update of the format in compliance with the ISO-IDMP standards. This regulation is the regulation number 520/2012, Article 25 and 26. That obliges member state and marketing authorization holder and EMA to make use of this terminology defined in ISO-IDMP standard from July 2016. Okay. Now, although I assume that you are watching this webinar and you already know something about this standard, I'm going to comment on them briefly. So, the use of this standard consists in the identification and description of medicinal products for human use. The purpose of this standard is to facilitate the reliable exchange of medicinal product information in a robust and consistent manner by providing a common product language for stakeholders to use in their interaction. In this slide, you can see the 5 standards. Each one collects the different parts that make up the set. In order to support this implementation, EMA realized SPOR is basing on the 4 domains of master data in pharmaceutical regulatory processes: substance, or product, organization, and referential. Currently, PMS is hosted in PLM portal. but we will discuss PMS in more detail in the following slide. So let's go to PMS. Okay. So what is PMS? PMS is the database provides standardized, pre-approved product data to support regulatory procedure for both authorities and pharmaceutical companies. It ensures compliance with ICD-MP standards for centralized and non-centralized authorized products by storing and sharing product data and documents. The PMS simplifies data reuse and helps meets legal requirements under Article 57. In summary, PMS allows the unique identification of the medicinal product. As you can see in this slide, we have PMS contain structured data, ICD-MP compliant, consuming master data from shore, consuming authorized product data, structured, standardized, and consistent, and it's a single source of another platform. Okay, so but doing a comparison, which are the main differences between both databases? So we have here SNMPD. So which are the data, the quantity of that data element that are contained in SNMPD? More or less 50. And in PMS, more or less 180. So the user interface used in SNMPD submission is IDWeb, and in PMS is product user interface that is hosted in PLM portal. The medicinal product involved in SNMPD are investigational and authorized medicinal product. And in PMS, only authorized medicinal product. And the department involved in the SNMPD is pharmacovigilance. Sometimes is regulatory also. But in PMS, collaborate more departments as pharmacovigilance, regulatory affairs, quality, and supply chain. Okay. Here again, we have the importance of the PMS as source of data. Because PMS is consumed data from SIAMED, SNMPD, and source. But a PMS is source for other systems as, for example, electronic application form. The electronic application for variation web base is consumed data from PMS. Also, the electronic product information that contain data carrier identifier extracted to PMS. ASU is the antimicrobial sales and use platform to support the mandatory collection and reporting of data on antimicrobial medicinal product in animals. And ESMP is the shortage monitoring platform that consumes also data from PMS. And inspection and parallel distribution contain centralized product and their manufacturers consume data from PMS also. The RPM is the EMA regulatory procedure management system and consumes centralized product data from PMS. Okay, so in this slide, I wanted to reflect how is the data flow between platforms. Highlighted the importance of ESMP and which are the main activities that the marketing authorization holder has to do. So as you can see here, many data come from SNMPD for non-CAPS product and for CAPS product from SNMPD and SIAMED. Once this data is in PMS, some of it is shared in the prefills templates used in ESMP. So in order to support this platform, the marketing authorization holder must enter pack size into the SNMPD and enrich fields such as manufacturer and their business operation. Additionally, as a prior phase of this enrichment process, we gather the necessary information and align it according to export term. Okay. So, other example of the data consumed from PMS, it will be the electronic application form. The reason is that PMS delivers product data, pre-populates, and supports key fields in the electronic application form for variation. There are differences in the way they call the element across different applications, but most of them it can be seen grouped either in the product selection or in the proposed change for structured data. Apart from this, the electronic application form also consumes data from shore, as for example, the active substance of SMS. Okay. Now, here we have a data integration flow in the regulatory process. So, how could be this flow? So we have the approval of a medicinal product that is under the Union List Critical Medicine, and we have to send the data via SCMPD according the Article 57. And then we have to split if it's necessary, send again data in SCMPD. Also recommended, highly recommended to complete the package description according the EMA requirement. And then we have to enrich the data, the structured data of pack size, manufacturers and manufacturer business operation via a PMS API or PMS product user interface. For this activity, we have deadline in Jan 2026. So for the moment, it's mandatory, the first part, SCMPD submission, and then we have till Jan 2026 for the other activity, but the complete flow will be on this way. Okay, so, but how can I submit data in PMS? And which is the data flow? So, the first question is, do you have a RIM? If the response is yes, you can submit your SCMPD data via gateway through RIMs. And if you have connection API PMS, you can submit the data to PMS via RIMs. But before this data is visible in PMS, the data is integrated in Iris and then is transferred to PMS in PLM portal. If you don't have RIMs, you can submit the SCMPD data via IRIweb or PMS data via product user interface that are reflected in PLM portal. Okay, so now we are going to talk about the essential starting point, PMS data validation. Considering that the centralized product that data has migrated to PMS from SIAMET and also from SCMPD, and some of it is as undergone the match and merge process, while for non-CAPS data has migrated from SCMPD, this data needs to be verified in PMS. Therefore, in the following slide, I will show which activities are important for the holders and where they need to be carried out. So, as I mentioned, in order to verify this data migration, we can carry out the following activities, and you can see here the important activity that you should do in SCMPD, as for example, review and manage your third acknowledgement, perform required correction via SCMPD. Regarding the pack size, in order to support ESMP, ensure the pack size are split in SCMPD for non-CAPS under the Union List Critical Medicine. Update the package description in SCMPD according to the EMA recommendation. Split the pack size in SCMPD for the rest of non-CAPS. This is deadline Jan 2027. Update the SCMPD with any new authorized pack size. Deadline 15 days for Union List Critical Medicine. Okay, and now we can go to the short activities. So in OMS, we can review and make sure that the data of the marketing authorization is mapped to the correct data in OMS. Review and make sure the manufacturer's organization is present in OMS. Regarding SMS, make sure the composition in SCMPD is the same for all the vehicles belonging to the same medicinal product. Review the substance with SVG 0 and try to avoid the use. Not mandatory, but this is high recommended. Regarding RMS, review the mapping Excel of medicinal product, packaged medicinal product, pharmaceutical product, and check if it need to apply correction. So now the last, that could be the edition of data sets. So it's important that you review product data quality, open match and merge process from SIAMET and SCMPD. Also consider the known issues listed by EMA in case that some errors are contained in this list. Perform the necessary action to solve any error detected. check the manufacturers and MBOs data for centralized products in PMS that has been migrated from Siamet, enrich manufacturers and MBOs and additionally pack size data for non-cast product. Okay, and this can be done via API or product user interface. And the last could be the next step for the marketing authorization holder. Okay, so we can go to the EMA capability release and marketing authorization holder activity. So we have a timeline. In this timeline, I wanted to highlight the capabilities that EMA has released. So, for example, in May 2024, EMA released the read capability in PMS. So, from this date, we can start to review products migrated from SMPD to PMS. Then we can go to January 2025, and EMA delivers capability to edit, but single update via product user interface PMS. So only update one product. This date matches with the deadline for the submission of pack size via SCMPD for the non-caps that are under Union List Critical Medicine. This activity is to provide support to ESMP. But then after that, the deadline was extended to May 2025. And then now in September 2025, EMA released the capability to do the submission via bulk update. So we can submit the structured data for manufacturers and pack size with a set of products. And also it's voluntary the submission of data carrier identifier. And then release the capability to PMS API write. So with this, we have some deadline that I'm going to explain now. So we have to submit the structured data on manufacturers and business operation and structured data of pack size for the non-caps that are under the Union List Critical Medicine till Jan 2026. Okay, it can be done via single or bulk update functionality or write PMS API access. So then we have other deadline, December 2026, for the submission of the structured data on manufacturer and MBO for the rest of the portfolio. And then we have the last deadline for Jan 2027 that have to submit the pack size via SCMPD for the rest of the portfolio, and then the structured data of the pack size in PMS for the rest of the portfolio. And all these activities are for provide support to ESMP. And that would be all for today. I hope you enjoyed it and found it useful. You know that if you need our support, don't hesitate to contact us. So
thank you, Sonia. Thank you so much for this fantastic presentation, and thank you to everyone who attended. Remember that if you still have further questions, as Sonia said, you can still send them to info@asphalion.com and we will help you with pleasure. Have a nice afternoon, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.